Plague Doctor of Wippra. Let's dive back in. There he is. Please help him. I see what I can do. Self with rustic tableware, from the looks of it, it's been handed down for generations. Cook pot with a handle. We can go back outside. Have you been able to help my house potatoes? I'm on it. Okay. Let's go with this. My name is Oswald Keller. I'm a physician. What doctor? Quack. All bad. So, how are you? What? I'm so cold. He's burning up and barely responsive. His fever is very high. Okay. Bucket of water. Can't use that. Let's get some water boiling. Okay. The water is boiling, okay. Let's see if there's anything you can use. An elderwish bush. Yes, let's grab some of that. Linen cloth. Let's grab that as well. Is there anything else here? Okay. Put that in there. Still one ingredient missing. Human blood? Nope. Never that easy. Silver willow bark. A very, willow has pain-killing properties. Use my knife to pry some bark off the tree. Okay. Tea is ready. Prepare the tea that will relieve your fever and pain. Tea, you think with your brew you can go against God's will. Drink it and the fever will go away. No, I will pass this test from Lord without you. You think it's God's will that you're sick? What else could it be? Nothing happens without the Lord's intention. God sent me to help you. Maybe. Very well. Have you been able to help my husband yet? I'm on it. What happened to the tea? He has a high fever. Bucket of water. Okay. Get his fever down. I'm going to put this cold wrap. Put your half wraps on you now. Cold. Better the moment you'll see. You've been able to treat my husband yet. I made him cast wraps to bring the temperature down, and I've get him through the night. Till he obeyed his fever, he should be better put away tomorrow. Thank you very much. I'll sew you to the hayloft and set up a place for you to sleep. Knock, knock. Keep knocking. Hello? Good morning. I wanted to say goodbye before I hit the road again. How is your husband? Shush. Hurry up and go. I'm so sorry. Why? There he is. Seize him. I charge you of heresy, witchcraft, and theft. I never. I've seen it myself, and there are other witnesses. A faithful member of the local community has agreed to testify against you. We'll talk about the devil's work of brew you made, and to try to persuade him to drink it, didn't you? What but? It is thanks to him that we found you. Witchcraft, dear Mr. Keller, witchery. Take him for questioning. He will confess everything. Three days later. Silence. Mary is speaking. Listen, dear people. You're here today to hear testimony against the physician Oswald Keller. He stands accused of heresy, theft, witchcraft, and conspiring with the devil. I now give the floor to accuser Pardoner Jonah Craft. This man has been accused of great discord in our community. He has been sneaking from door to door, unsettling people intending to forsake their faith in God. That is not true. I am a physician. I came to Wippra to help people. Far be it from me to advise my patients in anything other than medical matters. Oh yes, I have heard differently. There are serious accusations. It is one man's word against another. We will hear witnesses to refute or collaborate with the allegations. Well, Dr. Keller, whom would you like to call to your defence? The Countess. I'd like to ask the Countess to intercede on my behalf. Very well. I know this man to be capable and courteous physician. He exhibits respect and decency. The accusations against him sound far-fetched to me, to say the least. Thank you for your gracious statement, my lady. You put the case in a new light. Do you have another witness to support your accusations, Father Kafter? I do. I call the guardsman City Watts to witness. So be it. Arnold, speak. As you command. But I met Dr. Keller in Cross Alley when he stepped out of the basket weaver's house. I asked him frankly what the reason for the visit there was. He knew the family had a case of the plague, but he denied it. Possibly he wanted to prevent me from blocking up their doors with boards. Unbelievable, I specifically ordered the sick to be isolated so that the plague would not be spread further. This is disregard for your sovereignty or sovereign authority. Whatever the outcome of this trial, you will be punished with lashes for this. And you counter these accusations, Dr. Keller. Ask another to speak. The sister at the convent. I'd like to ask Sister Agatha to speak for me. I will comply with this request. Now, what do you have to say in defence of the accused, sister? As our new physician, Dr. Keller was to take up the work of his predecessor, Dr. Herbert, had so consistently performed for years. On that day, the beds in the hospital were full. Dr. Keller consistently cared for the sick and performed difficult surgery just as Dr. Herbert would have done. I'm very glad to have Dr. Kelly with us that day. But what about the holy water brush? He stole it, didn't he? He did take the holy water brush by permission, but he used it to do good. This is the spirit of the Lord and therefore forgivable. Also, I am sure that he would have returned it. Accordingly, he cannot be found guilty of theft. What to know, that is... Father Craft, it is up to you to call another witness. The miller will give us proof of Oswald Keller's ill works and his heretical speeches. I will gladly testify as a witness. On the day of question, I found my servant Otto in the mill with his head crushed in. I dragged him to hospital in my cart. Dr. Keller had examined the injury but gave him little hope. He still had flour to deliver, so I set off. Later, Dr. Keller approached me unexpectedly from Cross Alley and demanded the guilder. I immediately had a bad feeling. I wanted to buy an indulgence with a silver piece, but Dr. Keller kept pressuring me. With cunning persuasion, he forced me to hand over the guilder. He used Luther's heretical drivel to get his way, but it didn't help my stupid servant. His injury became infected, and yesterday he died and was buried. God rest his soul. I heard it said that the wound was not properly cleaned. His servant is dead and the silver is lost. If only I had brought an indulgence. I am telling you, Oswald Keller is just a heretical pretending to be a physician. Is that true? Of course not. That's enough. The evidence against good is overwhelming. Those offences are punished by death by hanging. Not only that, the lies this man spread about the plague are blasphemous. For that alone, he should be punished with death. Go tell them yourself. It's just, I believe, the plague is not God's punishment. It is fleas from rats that spread the plague. Rats. There have always been rats here. You hear that blasphemy? This heretical presumes to exert himself above God. No, but prayers and buying letters for indulgence will not save us from the plague. We people can do something about the disease. Enough. Oswald Keller, I hereby send you to death by hanging. No. Oswald Keller's letter never reached its address. In 1894, the pathogen that caused the plague was discovered by Swiss physician Alexander Yersin. Today we know that the plague was a bacterial infection transmitted from rats to humans in the Middle Ages, primarily by fleas. Plague Doctor of Wippra. Inspired by the short story by Florent Rossi. The end. I will say, I think there's some other endings you can get depending on how you do things. But at the same time, the game is very short. Like, let's do a Cornish review of this game. I like the narrative and I like the setting and I like the art style. The music is very nice. But the game is only about 2 hours long at most, and that's if you click on everything. And while I don't have anything against very short games as long as they're really good quality, like, this is not like, this game isn't something you get. It's not like a £75 or £1 game. And so I would have liked a little bit more length. It felt rushed, especially towards the end. I don't know. I just think it could have had a bit more length added to it. That's my only gripe against the game. I mean, there are ways you can get around it. I think if we had reported the family, I don't know. I think there's a couple of, I think there's an ending where you can survive, but you have to basically dem your own work to do it. But I'm not totally sure. But this has been the Plague Doctor of Wippra. If you like click puzzle, click puzzle adventure games, this is an interesting title. I don't have much else to say on it really, because the game is quite short. I mean, options-wise, you have a nice selection of languages, which is always nice. You have different font styles, especially for those who are dyslexic, which is really nice to see. Hotspot highlighting you can do, which is nice. So overall, it's not a bad game. It's just very short for what it is, to be honest. I was hoping for something that was at least going to be like 3 hours long, just so you had a little bit more like sort of bite to it. But it felt a bit sort of rushed, to be honest, towards the end. I've been Cornish-knight. This has been the Plague Doctor of Wippra, and I see you all again next time. Goodbye.